Hi, friends. Welcome back to the Tesla Elon Musk Drama Network. and we've got a doozy of an episode for you today. You probably heard the news already. Elon Musk is going to do a sit down with Donald Trump. Will it be in person? Will it be Zoom? Who knows? We'll see what it ends up being. If they're going to do it right, I think they'll do a sit down in person, and I expect that. If not, it'll be a major disappointment. Already, though, the EU is threatening X/Elon. If you guys are spreading violent stuff, misinformation, disinformation, if you're just like lying about all kinds of things, you may be banned or penalized from the EU. I think that is a real possibility. This is actually interesting. This is coming from the EU here. Thierry Breton says, with great audience comes greater responsibility. So we're basically quoting Spider-Man here. And it says, as there is a risk of amplification of potentially harmful content in EU, in connection with events with major audience around the world, I sent this letter to Elon Musk, and basically it's a big warning. If you want to read the full letter, that you can. We'll read a gist of what it says. So this is basically EU's Breton warns Musk on hate speech ahead of Trump interview, receives profane response, and this was the parts of the letter. It says, as the relevant content is accessible to EU users and being amplified also in our jurisdiction, we cannot exclude potential spillovers in the EU. Any negative effect of illegal content, they'll say they'll take further action. Our full toolbox, including adopting interim measures, should it be warranted to protect EU citizens from harm. And remember, Trump was banned from Twitter before for inciting violence and worrying about that. So who knows what these people are going to say? And Elon tweeted back. This is 3 hours ago. He said, "To be honest, I really want to respond with Tropic Thunder meme, but I would never do something so rude and irresponsible." And then he says here, take a step back and literally F your own face. That was Elon's adult response, a joke, of course, adult response to the EU threat. And guys, when I chat with you guys about this stuff, I know some people act like, this is normal behavior for adults. And I think only children say that, because honestly, the stuff that goes all over, be it Tesla, be it X, etc., is highly, highly unusual. I'm bringing up the Linda Yaccarino thing. I showed it before on the channel. She talks really strange, and basically and this was the introduction to where X is going to be suing advertisers for not advertising on X. So I'm still waiting for the lawsuit, the official lawsuit, for when Elon sues Tesla, or actually sues everyone in the world for not buying a Tesla. So again, they're going to try to sue advertisers for not advertising on X. And this is another BS move by them. And I call this stuff out, guys, because this stuff is obvious. Now, I'll read it, and then I want you to see how it's obvious. So here's Linda Yaccarino, and she writes, this is just like a few hours ago, I think. Before you tune in tonight to Spaces with Elon Musk and real Donald Trump, here's some data about who is on X platform. So they say 37 million Democrats, 32 million Republicans, 34 million swing voters. And the first thing when I saw this is, where does this data come from? And how could you possibly know the political affiliations of your users, right? I mean, seriously, when you make an account on Facebook or Twitter or X or Instagram or TikTok or any social media platform, do you put your name, birthday, and like your political party? You don't. You guys know this, right? This is totally BS numbers. You could try to make guesses by how many likes someone has or something like that, but even other people were calling it out. This person was saying, like, where has this data been collected from? That makes up 30% of American voters. How are we deciding their political affiliations, right? Another person says, I'm curious, how do you get those numbers, right? How do you get this? Like, I'm not the only one who's questioned this. And this was like right away. My first question was like, how would you even know the numbers? Because one is, I would question the whole thing, because I think X, it tends to be a right-leaning platform. Not making this random stuff up. So, they're going to claim that it's balanced. So that right there, it's sort of like, okay. And I'm open to numbers, guys. If you have the numbers to prove it, I'm open to say, okay, that's the numbers. The numbers are the numbers. But it doesn't make sense, because I don't think anyone declares their party when you sign up for the platform. So it just seems like BS numbers to me. So that's the kind of stuff that, like, you guys got to call out together. Here's that full letter if you want to read the whole thing. But this is the world of Tesla and Elon Musk. It's so much drama. It's so much misinformation stuff. So that's a perfect example of like I just don't believe their numbers. Now something like this, and this is sort of where someone mentioned before, just in comments just a few minutes ago, where they like to come to our community in the channel because we try to cut through the BS, right? So when I see this, Tesla's profits fell 45% in the second quarter. This is be according to their filings. I believe it. Why? Because they have like a legal responsibility as a publicly traded company to report this kind of stuff. Now, can they lie in their books? Absolutely, they can. But generally speaking, you try to put out good numbers because you'll get in trouble, big trouble, if you're lying on your financial statement. So when I see their profits are falling, chances are yes, I think they are. Could they be worse? You never know. I mean, and the reason why is because like every time I tune in and check the stuff on Tesla, it's like more crazy news and to the downside. So for example, this just came out today. Tesla halts cheap Cybertruck orders as expensive versions pile up. so so basically, right, the Cybertruck comes out early, and I think the early ones were like 120 or something like that, right? And so it sounds like they got too many of the expensive ones, and so like they won't let you get the cheap one anymore, right? And so take a look at this. It says I guess the expensive one's 119. So that's the Cyber Beast. And then you have another one like at 99,000 or basically 100,000. And then you got one at 61, but I think that one is like not available. So they're trying to clear out their expensive ones before you can get the cheap ones. It's really funny. And the thing is that without the Cybertruck, and it's been a joke since the beginning. But the thing about it though is that this was the vehicle that Elon had a really heavy hand in the design and the whole process. The one thing I will say is that like Tesla could have gone for a affordable $25,000 car, that kind of thing, but Elon really didn't really have any interest in that. He just wasn't interested in putting out a mass product for everyone. It's just not something he was interested in. And also too, to be fair to Tesla, that's a tough market. You go down market, try to sell the affordable car, you run into all kinds of competition, and it really eats in your margins, and you basically just become a regular car company. So to be fair to Tesla, when you put out the Cybertruck, you are not like other car companies. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I'll let you be the judge, but you're definitely not like other car companies, and you took a risk. So give them that. They took a risk, but there's only like, how can I say, there's only so many risks that you can take and miss to where you can still stay afloat. And I think they're going to take a big bath on the Cybertruck. I don't see a big market for it ever. If they would have gone with traditional truck, they actually would have done pretty well, I think. Or we'll say better, because you still have to compete with Rivian. But I'll just say they would have done a lot better than Cybertruck. But again, Tesla, that was Elon's pet things. I really want to build that sci-fi truck, and they did. So they're canceling their I guess EV factory plan in Thailand. That's what's up with that. There's always negative news or weird stuff here. The thing with the Trump interview, and that's going to be coming up, and I probably won't watch it live. I'm just telling you the truth, because I don't know how long it's going to be. Is an hour, 2 hour, 3 hours? Honestly, I have better things to do with my time. I'll take a look at it. I'll take a look at parts of it, but do I want to sit? Because like when you watch the recording or watch it later, you can fast forward through stuff, and that's the huge advantage. And instead of spending 3 hours sitting down with Trump and Musk, I can probably make it in like 25 minutes or something like that, and do it quickly. So that's sort of like my strategy on this one. But I will take a look at it, and I'll do my thoughts on whatever crazy things that they say or don't say. The other issue too with this thing, guys, is there is a high possibility that the network thing doesn't work, because Musk tried to do like a chat with DeSantis, and I think that their whole system crashed or something like that. So there's certainly a possibility that could happen again. So that's another thing I don't want to get my hopes up on this stuff. The funny thing is about this Trump thing and the Musk thing is Trump's going on Musk's platform, but Trump himself has his own social media company. That's the True Social thing. That stock's been taking a dive. It was down again today, so I guess people weren't too keen on it. One of the things that I think was certainly a real possibility, though. I think it's a real possibility that X could buy the Trump media thing. I think it's certainly possible. Will they buy it? Who knows? But I think it's certainly possible. Maybe he's like, hey, I'll buy your media platform if you give me a pardon. but the problem is that if Trump doesn't win and Musk is giving Trump all this money, that kind of screws him. If you don't know, guys, Trump's company has been in trouble with the SEC. All kinds of crazy stuff leading up to the going public was that their accounting firm was part of and I did a video on this I don't know, like 3 months ago. Their accounting company they used was like, I'm not kidding, it was like a little tiny house behind a grocery store, and it was like kind of an immigrant community, I think, because it was a Chinese grocery store. This was in like I want to say it was like I don't remember. Don't quote me this. I want to say it was like in Indiana or something like that. I can't remember which state it was, but basically it was like small town in the immigrant part. And it could have been Texas too. I just don't remember. Maybe it was Texas. And then the accounting company that he used was like basically looked like a house, so it was like really small. And then this particular accounting company that Trump used had all kinds of how can you put it, shady dealings in the past. Like and I understand if people who love Trump, they kind of have this allergy to bad news, and so they just kind of sneeze and act like it doesn't happen. But this stuff is real things. Sometimes people do bad things, and sometimes people basically just make stuff up or incite violence, this kind of thing. And that's what we're worried about with this Elon Musk stuff. He's been sort of retweeting all sorts of crazy stuff regarding the UK. I don't go through every single one of the things, but guys, I've seen it. Musk and his followers think of Musk as being a freedom fighter. And I guess it depends what kind of freedom that you want. If you want freedom to just, encourage people to fight each other, I'll let you be the judge of that. But yeah, and I won't get into all the other stuff he says all the time, but it's getting worse is what I'll say. And, I think my opinion on this stuff, Musk has the right to say whatever that he likes, right? But there will be consequences to it, right? Your platform could get banned, right? And you could really damage sales of your Tesla platform if you keep doing this kind of stuff. Moreover, he may be having meltdowns due to personal things. That's why you have to bring this stuff up. Some sort of weird custody battle with Grimes. He, I think, is it 2 or 3 kids with one of his employees over at Neuralink? I can't keep track of all the kids he's got, and he's got like well over 10 kids. You can ask Elon how many he's got. I'm sure there's all sorts of secret kids around everywhere. That stuff adds up, guys. That's why you bring this stuff up. It adds up. And then you got this for it. This I can't even it's so hard to keep track of all this stuff. That's why I got to organize it the best I can. Now he's got this new thing out where like SpaceX is making the water dirty in Texas or whatever. Am I shocked? No, because there was a report before that SpaceX was like ruining the habitat of a endangered bird. I remember this, and Elon Musk tweet out that he didn't care about the birds. Basically, I summarize it, but in his kind of meme stock sort of childish kind of way. So that's what's up today with this. I think these kind of things will tell the story, and I'll be curious your guys' thoughts on this. Is it possible? And this is just a really good example of the kind of stuff they tweet out, and you can think about it for yourself. Do you really think X has real numbers on the political affiliations of their users? Like, and would that be reliable numbers, or do you agree with me that this is? So anyway, that's my thoughts on these things, and I'll catch you on the next video.